Hi, this is Danny Khursigara, and today I want to share with you a frequent question that I'm asked in these unprecedented times by leaders, CEOs, and companies, and it's how do we keep our morale high and the company morale high in times of crisis? So I want to share a couple of points with you which I think are quite critical, and the first one is what we call leading by example. Now, mastering this art is very important, as you will all agree. It means demonstrating courage, persistence, patience, compassion, and most importantly, authenticity. You must also make every effort to avoid micromanaging so that you can allow your staff to step into and express their highest potential. But more importantly, we've often heard this term leading by example in corporate settings. But what I've noticed is that many leaders don't really understand what that entails. Now, in my opinion, it means that asking yourself the following question. As a leader, is my self-talk positive or negative? Now, self-talk is the dialogue we have with ourselves on a constant basis and is one of the most important conversations of all. If your self-talk is negative, it will disempower you. If it is critical or judgmental, it will disempower you. And your people will sense it and they can actually feel it energetically. It will also show up in the language you use. So make sure your self-talk is positive and uplifting and it empowers and encourages you. Because you can't boost the morale of your company unless you boost yours first. And leading by example always starts with you. Latest research shows that positive thinking and positive visualization combined with coaching and training can enable you to achieve anything. I remember Mahatma Gandhi, who helped change the world. He lived by example, and as a result, he accomplished some great things in the world. The second point, which I think is really important, is what we call listening without judgment and prejudice. Now, instead of assuming you know everything about everybody, utilize the qualities of compassion and empathy to discover what your people are struggling with. What are they thinking? How are they coping? By making this a habit, you'll not only discover their point of view, but you'll also address and calm your own anxieties. So listening without judgment and prejudice, using compassion, is a powerful way to boost morale and inspire your teams. Now, the third point I think is really important, which is what I call paying attention to your relationships. Now, without establishing a solid foundation of trust, it is impossible to boost morale and inspire other people. Now, people need to feel safe and comfortable around you. When you are seen as genuinely interested in their well-being and curious about what they're interested in, your relationship kind of turns a corner and you start building collaboration with each other. So you make sure you spend enough time in nurturing your relationships. The founder of the multi-million-dollar brand Fossil once told me that he spends 40% of his time in managing the company and 60% of his time in building and nurturing relationships. So that's how important relationships are. The fourth one is what I call practicing uncommon appreciation. As critical it is to achieve goals and outcomes, focusing solely on that is not an effective way to boost morale. Remember, morale and collaboration are creative processes and they're ongoing processes. So by stopping to acknowledge, thank, and appreciate people for their effort, but more importantly for their presence, you demonstrate mutual respect and a source of encouragement. I remember I attended a session by Richard Branson a few years ago where he said, "Flowers flourish on water, people flourish on praise." So take a moment to acknowledge, appreciate, and express real interest, genuine interest in your employees. Now, the last point, which I think is really important as well, is what I call never lose sight of a compelling vision. In uncertain times, it is quite natural that people are distracted or worried or fearful about their jobs, their families, their well-being. But remember that after every winter, there is spring. And if you spend this time to reflect, innovate, and become a master of your craft without losing sight of your vision, you'll always be more motivated better equipped and more competent to realize your vision when spring season sets in. Things will start looking up again for sure. So a takeaway question for you is, what do you plan on doing in the next weeks and days ahead to boost your company morale? So if you found these tips useful, please hit like and share and comment if there's anything else you'd like to add. Thank you and have a wonderful day.